Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Gemma and I'm coming to you as always from my home in Devon. In Devon. If this is your first time here, welcome. It's so lovely to meet you. I hope you're having a great day. If this is a return visit for you, then welcome back. Thank you for choosing to continue on the journey with me. Once again, we may find that there's some ambient road noise in the background, but it is another very warm day down here in Devon. It's grey and overcast, which is nice. It's been raining a little bit this morning, which gives that cosy feel, but it is nevertheless very close, very humid, and I just really want the window open. I can't talk to you and just sit here. So there we are. Either way, if you're a new viewer, welcome. Returning viewer, welcome back. Lovely to have you here. I just want to start by saying a really quick thank you to everyone who has left such kind comments and words of encouragement and support, either here on my channel or have reached out to me privately through via Instagram Messenger or Facebook Messenger. It's definitely feels really lovely to have that support and to know that people are wanting to carry on this crazy journey with me. So thank you. If you're not sure what I'm talking about and it's your first visit, go back and check the last podcast. That'll tell you everything you need to know. So welcome. I'm going to continue with this new format that I've started over the past couple of weeks. It's taking a lot longer to edit, but I'm really enjoying that process. It's nice to put it all together and choose the clips of, and it's almost like the podcast kind of becoming not just my chance to sit and talk to you all about what I've been making and my creative journey, but almost like a scrapbook for my family, especially with these early days with Robin. It's going to be fun to look back on when he's older, although he's probably going to hit 9 years old and say, "Mummy, can you please archive all that?" Which would be completely fine if he did, because it's his choice, his life, his choice. So there's not really been much of a walk this week. We had lots of lovely walks, as you know, last week. And the weekend was a little bit, shall we say, overcast. The mist had rolled in thick as potato soup. I don't know why people call it a real pea soup, but I find potato soup too much thicker. And it was definitely a potato soup sort of day. I'll pop in some pictures of our walk at Barbican, which is our usual walk. We didn't do any special walks this week. And as you can see, it's not exactly the best view. For once, it is not giving the best view. So there we are, British weather. We're also not venturing very far from home as a family at the moment because we are deep in the throes of potty training. Don't worry, I will spare you all the details. Not that there are many details at the moment. It is not going very well because we are refusing to sit on it. But anyway, regardless, I won't go into all that with you because that is not why you're here. And we're definitely having to get creative with it, but not in a way that I'd like to share here. So there we go. So we've not really ventured very far from home. I, however, ventured very far from home yesterday. I had a day out visiting clients as with my search press hat on, repping all the books. And oh goodness, I think I did 9 hours of driving all told yesterday. Frustratingly, it meant I could have been up, visiting Jude in the time I was driving around the West Country, but it's a beautiful part of the world, and I've got a very special vlog coming later this weekend perhaps. We'll see what happens. Or I invite you to come on the road with me for a day, and we hit like 6-7 different stores in the southwest of England. So if that sounds like fun, then do join me for that. So I've got a veritable bucket of coffee keeping me going this week. There will be regular cuts because I will regularly have to pause to, excuse me, yawn. Anyway, so let me share with you a little bit of what's been going on this week. I'm going to start this week with knitting and crochet. There's been little bits of progress here and there on lots of different things. last week I didn't have anything finished, and I shared with you I was kind of struggling to settle to anything, and I just gave myself permission to enjoy the process of making, and I'm so glad I did, because you know, like the little train that could, the train that believed she could, I have chugged up to the top of my project mountain and come down triumphant with 3 finished objects. And it's not been about when I finish them. I haven't even logged them as finished on Ravelry yet, so I don't think I've even put pictures on Instagram of any of them. I've just enjoyed the process. I've just given myself permission to pick up whatever is near, whatever I feel like at the time, and it's been really, really lovely. So the first finished object is this gorgeous rainbow hat. It's a cable rib beanie, and I've probably completely changed the name. I've given the name nonsense. I will put it down here for you. It's a pattern from Wool on the X, which is a yarn. I love that crown. I particularly love the way the colours radiate with the crown as well. So I'm getting distracted by the pretty yarn. It's available from Wool on the X. I believe it's free with a purchase as well, that particular pattern. And it was the pattern, the project that goes with my Introduction to Knitting in the Round course that I teach there. I've taught it twice now. I've got another 2 coming up, one in September and one, I'm not sure if it's before Christmas or just after Christmas. I've got it written down. Ella, I promise I've written it down. I promise. It's in my diary. But yeah, so I don't think Ella watches, so that's fine. She doesn't have to see the chaos. Yeah, so I'm going to, for better or worse, I'm going to put it on. All right, just cover your eyes. You might want to look away for this. It's not going to be good. There we are. It's really fun, isn't it? Looks a bit like a halo. It's the closest to a halo I'm ever going to get, but there we are. So there we go, one beanie. It is a wee bit small. It doesn't cover my bottom of my ears, but that is okay. Excuse me. And the reason that is okay is because it is not for me. This is going in my newly formed Christmas box, or my gift box, because it is a Christmas gift for one Layla, who is offspring of knitting expat. Having said that, I've just found the most amazing pattern when I was in Bath yesterday. I really did get around yesterday, and I bought yarn to go with it, and I'll show you that in my vlog, as I bought little bits from most of the shops I visited. I'm terrible, I really shouldn't. Spending what little commission I get is shocking. Buy more books, everybody. Help me out here. Help a gal out. Buy more books. Yeah. What was I saying? Which I also want to do. I want to do one for Layla and for Nova, but I'll share you, and my goddaughter, but I'll share that with you in my vlog. I don't know what it is, but every time I sit down to record, here's a bit of real life for you for a moment. My dog decides that is the perfect moment to wash his nether regions, and he's not quiet about it. He positively revels in the process. Does anyone else's dogs do that? Whenever you're just sitting down for a quiet moment or you want to do something important? Yeah. Is it a dog thing? He's my first dog. I don't know. Am I just really unlucky? So anyway, this is the hat, and I really, really love it, to be honest with you. I think it's really cute, really cool. The question is to pom or not to pom. I have enough of the yarn to make a kind of rainbow pom-pom. And if I make a rainbow pom-pom, do I make it so that it's detachable so she can choose whether to have the pom or not? I really love this. I love this whole spiral thing that's going on here. It's quite a short crown, and they're faux cables. There's no cable needle involved, and they're all one direction. So I shared it on my last podcast. Do feel free to go back and have a little look at how you form those stitches. So there we are. That is finished object number 1. And I've failed as a YouTuber. I have neglected to bring down my sock blockers, so I'm going to dangle my floppy socks at you now. Here we are. I have finished my DK weight middle a little Halloween socks. I'm affectionately calling these my Halloween socks. They just remind me of pumpkin-y, witchy things. I mean, they're utterly hideous, really, aren't they? And that's why I love them. They're really ugly, and I love them so much. I think these might be my favourite pair of socks, to be honest. So this is, as I said, middle of Lidl yarn. I've used not quite one 75-gram ball of the DK weight yarn. You get two 75-gram balls in their DK weight packs. I've not bothered about matching them, and I think, to be honest, that adds to their ugly charm, and I love them. And yeah, they're sitting quite happily in my box of socks. The next pair that I have made, or finished I should say, are my son's Kingfisher socks from West Yorkshire Spinners. There will be a grown-up pair to go with these because my husband has already requested them. But here is the Kingfisher pair. And rather amusingly, they kind of almost match. I don't know, one seems bigger than the other. They kind of match. Almost, but not quite. Yeah, I think that one's got a little bit more blue at the top. So they're kind of fraternal. They're kind of fraternal. I love the colours. It's West Yorkshire Spinners' signature 4-ply in their Country Birds range, and this is Kingfisher. I really love West Yorkshire Spinners, but what I'm really excited to share is that I'm actually branching out a bit more and expanding my sock yarn horizons. So it used to typically just be hand-dyed or West Yorkshire Spinners were my kind of go-to. But on my travels to all these different shops, I'm discovering all these different sock yarns, and I'm really enjoying trying them out. So I will report back. With regards to my summer sock camp updates, I will be doing one more video at the end of August just to celebrate the end of summer sock camp. I think I've done 4 updates so far, but with it being the summer holidays, it's been a little bit busy. So managing to do an actual dedicated summer sock camp video on top of everything else was a little bit flat. And also I wanted to talk about socks in the podcast again. So here we are. Here is my current box of socks. These are all the pairs that I have finished or made in Summer Sock Camp 24 so far. As you can see, I've got a little half sock there, and I'm hoping to finish 2 more pairs of socks by the end of August. But we'll see. I'm not really putting a hard and fast goal on it, for want of a better expression. There are no rules. I'm just enjoying the making. Works in progress. This is very, very nearly a hoe. I almost forwent the chance to sit and talk to you so that I could sit and get this finished and share it with you. Oh, stop. I'm hitting my coffee cup with my needles. Da-ding. I'm so excited by this. I do feel it needs to be on a blocker. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you now, and then I will, when I'm editing this, or maybe a little bit later this afternoon, I will finish this, pop it on a blocker, take a picture and put it here. There you go. This is the Vervain sock by this person, whose name I've forgotten. It is in the book by Liner, 52 Weeks of Socks Volume 1. It is available through Liner. It is available in various online platforms. Such Press is a distributor for it, so you can also get it through your local yarn stores and support them as well. So that's considering. And this is how far I've got. I'm on the toe decreases. I think I've got 2, let me just do a quick count. 2, 4, I've got 8 rounds to go and the graft, and then it's done. I got quite a bit of this done last night actually at Pins and Needles Italian night, which I had the joy of attending. Again, more on that on the vlog. Yeah, so my trip ended up with going to Devizes in Somerset or Wiltshire. Couldn't tell you. Think it might be Wiltshire. Not sure. Or is it Somerset? It's irrelevant. It's somewhere in the southwest of England. It's beautiful. Go there. You won't regret it. And I'd bought a ticket for their Italian night, and they were celebrating Adrafil with their Italian yarns. It's amazing. Anyway, I sat outside in the summer air in the company of other knitters and pretty much finished this sock. The one that's been on the go since March. And I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. So there we are. The only downside is now I've got to knit sock number 2. And I'm almost nervous to cast it on because I'm kind of nervous that it will take me just as long. I don't want it to take me just as long. I don't know. Anyway, the yarn is Skein and the Stitch in the colourway Amethyst, which is my daughter's birthstone. It was the make along sock for the 52 Weeks of Song Knit Along group on Facebook for March, which was fitting because March was my daughter's anniversary, and the plant for Vane is really kind of beautiful and purpley as well, and it's just, yeah, it's just all the good things basically. I absolutely love it. I'm not going to show you it on my foot because my toes will stick out and no one needs to see that. That's not pleasant. I don't do toes, I don't do feet. That's why I knit socks and cover them up. So yeah, with regards to other work in progress, I've not touched anything else knitting wise apart from where is it? Oh, it's fallen off the table. I've knit the cuff and part of the leg on our walk this morning of the second sock for my husband's Christmas pair of socks. I'm doing all right. There's quite a lot of yarn here. I think I might manage to get all 3 of our socks out of all 3 pairs of our socks for Christmas out of that one ball. And I am using it again. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I talked to you about it before. There's licorice for the cuff, heel and toe. So one of the reasons that making has been a little bit thinner on the ground this week is because I finished work. Last Friday. So yeah, so Thursday, Friday I was working, so I didn't have much time. Can't remember what we did Saturday. Sunday was my wedding anniversary. Predictably I was knitting. That was it. Saturday. This is why partly mine has been much baking. I spent the entirety of Friday night and Saturday night and some of Sunday afternoon, it's going to sound ridiculous, tidying my bedroom. We moved into this house almost a year ago and it doesn't as yet have the storage that we need. It's a typical 1950s boxy house. As it's escaped or either that or it's been pulled out, the fashion for built-in like inset, added on afterwards, wardrobes that kind of go over the bed and down the side of the bed and all of that. It's escaped all of that. It either never had it or it's all been ripped out. And it's got just 2 tiny little cupboards in the kind of recess that the chimney breast leaves. So there's one on my son's side of the wall and one on our side of the wall. So the bedrooms are next to each other, and my son's got a wardrobe here in the recess and we've got a wardrobe sort of here in the recess, and that's it. And we don't have an awful lot of stuff, but I have quite a lot of yarn. And with the search press job, we're getting quite a lot of books, and we've only been here a year, so we've not really sorted ourselves out yet. And so I decided that I'd had enough of our bedroom being the end of the river, and I was going to sort it out. And so while sorting it out, I inevitably was sorting out my yarn. I'm trying to find new homes for it, so it's not stacked in floor to ceiling boxes and just making me feel all hemmed in and overwhelmed. While I was sorting that out, I came across my minis, which wasn't a surprise. However, the volume of them was a bit of a surprise, and I know I haven't found them all yet, which is a little bit daunting. I've done 2 mini skein rainbow blankets, and I still have quite a lot left. So I have purchased myself a very pretty box from Hobbycraft, but there we are. We went for stickers for potty training, and I saw this and I thought, this would be perfect. And the minis I've kind of started organising. So I've got some really rich jewel tones and teals and dark blues, and they go really beautifully together, and I just think they're going to be wonderful. And this box is kind of like highlighter colours, but also with greens and pinks. And I've kind of put them all together. I think they go quite nicely together. They're quite a bright, light, punchy kind of palette. And originally what I was going to do is just do the whole lot together and make a granny square, because I always, from when my grandma taught me to crochet, I'd always had a granny square blanket on the go, and I haven't had one in maybe 2 years. I can't remember the last time I did a granny square blanket. Certainly within the lifetime of this podcast, but probably not for a couple of years. Anyway, so I started one, and I had no business starting a new project other than the fact that I wanted to, and that's good enough for me. So here we are so far. The colours are getting a little bit blown out. I might put some overlay footage in. So this is Dragon Hill Studios. It's their sparkle sock base, and it's the colourway that went with their self-striping begonia. This, I want to say, it seems quite for the love of yarny to me, but it also seems a little bit truly hooked-ish. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what all the minis are, other than I've just started crocheting round and round and really, really enjoying it. I don't think, and I haven't mentioned this out loud to my husband yet, I don't think I've got sufficient minis to make the blankets. They're going to be 2 blankets. Actually, it's going to be 3, because we've got these ones, the kind of jewel tones that I'll hopefully be sharing with you in some sort of editing magic. And then I've kind of got some more kind of almost primary colours, a bit more punchy, a bit more vibrant. So not quite as moody and dark as the teal blues jewel tones, which I think were really cool to my husband, but not quite as in your face as these ones. And so that's going to be one for Robin. So we're all going to have blankets. I don't know when we're all going to have blankets, but we're all going to have blankets. My granny stripe is continuing. There is plenty of yarn to go in my granny stripe, which is truly scrappy, truly advent, because it's my advent swap from Fiberpunk. So yeah, and it's just made me so happy. There's something about the gentle repetition of hooking a granny square round and round and round that is so soothing. It's for me, it's the crochet equivalent of a sock. That simple joy, that simple soothing joy of knitting round and round on a sock is achieved for me with a granny square. And it could be because it's Granny Square Day on Saturday, the 16th, no 15th. It's Granny Square Day Granny Square Day tomorrow, the 15th of August. Or is it today, the 15th of August? I no longer know what day it is. I have no clue. So let's just go with that. Yeah, no, actually, I can tell you, I think it's Wednesday. No, it must be Thursday. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Anyway, it could be to do with Granny Square Day. It could also be to do with the fact that Search Press's Granny Square card deck, which is created by Claire Montgomery, you've probably seen it on Instagram, has sold out. The warehouse was almost completely empty before the official publication date, which I think is the 16th. If it's 15th today, then it's 16th. It's 16th of August, which is tomorrow. So I've gone direct to reprint. So I've been talking granny squares ever since. There was a moment with this granny square blanket where I thought, should I make lots of little squares and put them together? And I thought, no, stuff it. I just want to crochet round and round. And it's so, so pleasurable. What's your kind of go-to absolute comfort project in knitting or crochet or both? You know, what gives you that kind of warm fuzzy feeling of just familiarity and true relaxation and, you know, not really having to think? Tell me below. The biggest challenge for me has been colour management. I'm trying not to manage the colours too much, but I have actually pulled out 2 colours already. I've done like half a row and gone, no, this isn't vibing for me. This isn't working. So it's kind of curated, but I'm trying not to curate it, if that makes sense.
You're gonna pull Daddy's arm, okay. Oh, look at that carrot!
Wow!
So we put them in the bowl. Right, next carrots. Pull. Oh, cheeky little carrot.
It's a big one. Oh, oh,
Oh, wow.
shake it off. Look at that carrot. It's got little legs.
Hmm.
You put it in there.
Hello.
In the bowl, son, and pick another one.
We do next.
Remember to pick down by the bottom.
Got some help?
Yeah.
Right, you help me pull. Pull.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow, look how wide that one is.
Look at this carrot.
A little horse.
Show Daddy. Look at Daddy.
Hello.
You can show Daddy your carrot.
Wow, look at that carrot. That's amazing.
Put it in a bowl.
Put it in the bowl.
Wow, look at these carrots. Might actually be able to use these. But this one. Ready?
Robin, you going to help?
1, 2, 3, pull.
Way.
Oh, that's a lovely carrot. It's been quite a quiet week in terms of other crafts as well. Robin and I haven't done any baking. We've been meaning to. I've got the stuff to make Rocky Road cupcakes, and maybe we'll make those this afternoon together. He's got a little friend coming for a play date tomorrow from preschool, which is really lovely. I'm really looking forward to that. The boy's going to make pizza for lunch, and we're just going to let them play. I'm not setting anything up for them particularly. I'm not planning activities. They're just going to play and chill and do whatever they want. I'm hoping the weather's really super nice, because then they can get out in the garden, they can go on the scooter and kick a ball about and play basketball, whatever they fancy. I'm looking forward to hearing them like tearing through the house, being happy and I was going to say toddlerish, but his little friend's actually off to big school in September, so not terribly toddlerish, but anyway, might bake those tonight. We also haven't made the cider cake thing. Don't actually know the ingredients for that, but I need to do that anyway. Cross stitch, haven't touched, I'm afraid, nothing to show you there. But what I have got to show you is some sewing. My sewing has come on absolute great guns this week. I found in the tidying the room quest I found the bits that I'd lost the week before, which were my pins, my feet, and my seam ripper, and the actual pattern instruction booklet for the pajama pattern that I'm doing. I'd lost all of that. I found it. Are you ready for where I found it? Found it in my box of sewing stuff. I'd put it away where it was meant to be, like an actual grown-up. I thought I'd lost it, but there we are. So I found it, and then during nap time the other day, Robin had a truly epic nap on Tuesday. I sat down at the machine. My intention had been to work on the hot water bottle cover for my friend, but I find winding bobbins a total pain in the proverbial, if I'm honest. I hate doing it. And I hate threading the machine from the bobbin. Mine's a little bit awkward. I've got two machines. I've got my mum's ancient Toyota, which she got for her 21st birthday, and she is now 63. So yeah, and I love that machine. I absolutely love it. It's temperamental as anything, and I love it. The reason I'm not using it at the moment is because I can't physically lift it. I need my husband to lift it for me because he is such a beast. And because I'm sewing in nap times, it'd be a lot, it can't stay out, so it would be a lot of shifting and yeah. So I'm using my Brother L14, which my mum bought me as a 30th birthday present to replace the one that she'd given me, her ancient one she'd given me. And irony of ironies, we're at my surprise 30th birthday, and I introduced my mum to my friend Emma, who'd been teaching me to sew. We were talking about sewing machines. Mum was like, "Oh, don't you want a better one now? Surely." I was like, "No, I love yours. I wouldn't swap it for anything." Oh my gosh! And there in the corner was a box, a gift wrap box, and unbeknownst to me, it had this brand new sewing machine in that my mum had bought me. Oh, bless her, she was so upset. But I loved the old machine. What can I say? So I've got both. Why not? I've got both, and I count myself very lucky. I'm not getting rid of either of them. So anyway, but with the Brother, threading the thread up from the place where the bobbin goes, the bobbin well, the bobbin cave, is an absolute pain in the backside. I don't know why I struggle with it so much, because it's meant to be a really user-friendly, almost beginner-esque machine. Having said that, it does buttonholes, so that's a win. What was I talking about? I couldn't be bothered to deal with the bobbin, so I thought I'll carry on with the pyjamas until I've used up the entire bobbin, and then I'll wind the cream, because for some reason I've only got one bobbin as well. I don't know how this has happened. I might find the rest somewhere in my tidying, organising spree that I'm going on. So I carried on with pyjamas. The pyjamas were a bit of a labour of love this time. It was inserting the collar, which is as far as I got previously, and although the pictures are really clear and the instructions arguably are really clear, for someone who's kind of geometrically challenged, I find it really difficult to imagine a flat thing as a 3D thing. I haven't got that. I'm going to refer to it as imagination, but it's some sort of space concept thing in your brain that I just really struggle with. So I did find it quite intimidating. I also discovered that the collar is meant to stop. So you've got your front piece, and the neckline obviously comes around here, but it's in two halves. So the collar, where you attach it, actually stops a good sort of 1.5 inches in. And the instructions said, oh, it needs to line up with the circles. I'm like, what circles? What are you talking about? So I had to get out the pattern pieces again, unfold them like an ordnance survey map, and locate these circles and try and roughly pop them in the right place on the with a pin on the front so I could sew it in. The next challenge, so I did the collar and I was absolutely giddy with excitement. This is just the curved bit of collar. This isn't including the facings that you then fold out to finish that lovely look of that collar. I don't know what the term for that collar, but the pyjama collar. Anyway, and I was absolutely giddy with excitement. It took me a long time to do, but to my amazement, my son was still asleep. So I thought I would carry on. And yeah, oh my gosh, it took me so many attempts to figure out the next bit with putting the facings in. The first challenge I had was the zigzag stitch. So on the facings, it wants you to zigzag the edge that isn't going to be encased in anything. It's just going to be loose, a raw edge. And the reason for this is that over time fabric can fray and it can start to sort of disintegrate and fall apart. And obviously you don't want that, because eventually you'll have this much facing and then you have this much facing. You can use an overlocker. I do not have an overlocker. I saw a fantastic overlocker yesterday, but it's a little bit beyond my budget and my capabilities and the amount of sewing I do, all the things. That's not going to happen. But you can use a zigzag stitch to do the same thing. And oh my goodness, it seemed to be going fine, but for whatever reason, my machine just ate the fabric. I'm clearly doing something incorrect with the zigzag stitch I'm choosing, or the foot perhaps I'm using. I don't know what it is. If you've got any tips, please do share them with me. I sent some cross messages to my friend Lee because I'm holding her responsible for everything I do in sewing these days. She's finding it quite funny, I think. She, like me, is very excited that I'm sewing. I'm very excited to be sewing. I must have tried 3-4 times to do this zigzag. And in the end, I decided that I was just going to go with it because they're pyjamas. What's the worst that can happen? By the end of it, I was so giddy with excitement that I'd made these, and they looked like recognisable pyjamas. Admittedly, there are no sleeves yet, there are no pyjama bottoms yet, but that is not the point. The point is, I'm very excited and very proud of my first attempt at pyjamas. I know there's going to be lots and lots of things that I can improve, and I shall improve those next time when I make his Thomas pyjamas, because I'm determined, having made one successful pair of pyjamas, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, I know that I shall make a second pair of pyjamas. The really delightful thing for me is that I popped them on a hanger to hang them up rather than folding them up again. So the jacket in progress is on a hanger, and when my son came down from his nap, he went, "Oh, pyjamas!" And I think that's great. If my 2-year-old can recognise them as pyjamas, then pyjamas they must be. And here they are. Let's try and fold that in a little bit. I haven't pressed them yet, so seams and things are being a little bit interesting, shall we say. And the fabric's obviously a little bit busy as well, but I think you will agree that those are recognisable pyjamas. There's a little collar. It's not the neatest work you'll ever see. Sewing Bee won't be asking for my application anytime soon. I'm quite pleased with how the collar's set in the end. I had a couple of hiccups where I had to unpick it a few times because I kept catching other bits of the fabric that weren't meant to be there into where the collar is. And yeah, and also I'm quite pleased with how the facing has gone in as well. When I was at a talent night last night, I got talking to a lovely lady whose name I actually didn't get. I feel really sad about that, but maybe someone will tell me. Maybe she's watching, maybe Vicky's watching, who knows. And she told me about something called French seams. I'm really excited to try that when I do the pyjamas, hopefully next week. So I will report back on that. It's a way of doing it so that when you've got your seam, I'll do a video when I actually attempt it. But if you seam your fabric together, as you can see, you end up with this raw edge inside. There's a seam. But in a French seam, you start off by sewing the outer edges together and then flipping it the other way so that when you do your then seam, the raw edges are, no, you put it wrong sides together. I'm not explaining this very well. Let me give it a go next week and I will share that with you. Well, that is all I've got for you this week. I am very much looking forward to bringing you the vlog of my day on the road as a Search Press rep and touring all these fantastic shops. I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. And thank you for name suggestions for the channel and for my online handles and things. I do really appreciate them. I haven't made a final decision yet, but I've decided that I'm going to give myself until the end of the month to change everything over and sort everything out. Vicky last night was saying that some of my social media still says I'm in Kent, so I really do need to update everything, don't I? I'm quite out of date, as it were. But yeah, so with that, me and my pyjama top are going to go and chill out for a bit while Robin finishes napping. I'm not going to risk getting the sewing machine out just yet. I just wanted to add as well that I found a new to me podcast this week. It came up through through the algorithm, basically. The title was one that the algorithm liked, and it's got lots of clicks, and as a result lots more people have seen it, and so it's appearing on a lot more people's suggestions on YouTube. And that's certainly what happened to me. So this podcast that I'd never heard of before popped up, and the video in question was my no-buy journey, I think, or no, the place where dreams go to die. And it was a fantastic description of this person's yarn stash. All this yarn bought with wonderful intentions, with projects and designs in mind, that all those purchases of yarn represent dreams and ambitions and wished for projects, and then they go into stash and they don't necessarily come to fruition, which is quite sad but also very, very true. I found her analysis of making and stash acquisition, and then why and how she's going to adjust this, to be so refreshingly honest and really interesting, and also quite inspiring. I have actually started watching their other videos as well. She co-hosts a knitting podcast with her daughter. There's a few episodes, I think 5 or 6 episodes of that, and it's nice. It's nice to watch. And her daughter in particular, I've got no idea how old she is, but she's a fantastic knitter, doing the most amazing skirt at the moment. Anyway, I found it really inspiring, and I'm definitely going to be following along on that journey. And I may even be joining in myself. I have commented. I've said, can we cheer each other on through this? Can I join you? And yeah, she seems up for that. So I'm going to hopefully be doing that as well. So that'll be coming down the pike next week. One of the things she did was weighed her stash. And she has 36, I think she's got 10% wiggle room, but she's got 36,000 grams of yarn in her stash, which to me sounded like a phenomenal amount. And then I started weighing mine. I did my inspiration basket, which usually lives there, but my son spilled a smoothie this morning, so it's in respite care, I want to say. I don't know, it's being fixed, it's being dealt with. So I counted that, I counted a bag that was on the stairs, and I counted one of my boxes upstairs, and I'm up to almost 12,000 grams. So I might be regretting this decision, but yeah. So anyway, if you're in the market for a new podcast to watch, go and check them out. They're really lovely, and this no-buy journey, loving your stash, actually reinvigorating those dreams, promises to be a really fascinating and I think inspiring journey to follow. So do go along and give them a little follow as well, if you feel like it, if you want to. I found it really interesting, and I thought some of you might as well. Yeah, so that's that. On that note, I'm going to go and try not to fall asleep, maybe finish this sock, maybe carry on weighing my stash, maybe I might finish a jigsaw puzzle. What I'm not going to do is doom scroll, I'm determined of that. Anyway, I'll see you in a bit. Bye.